Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking to you about a large prostate mimicking as bladder mass. Here is a 61-year-old male patient who came to us with hematuria and retention, was having a large prostate. Ultrasound showed multiple bladder tumors. CT also was suggestive of same. Patient was taken for TURBT. But when we did cystoscopy, there was no tumor inside. There was a large median lobe which was projecting inside the bladder, and patient was taken for TURP. Both the ureteric orifices were almost completely covered with median lobe, which we were not able to identify. With careful resection, we were able to see the left ureteric orifice initially. The entire median lobe was resected using a monopolar TURP. Resection of the median lobe was started first. Careful resection was done towards the bladder side so that we don't injure the ureteric orifice. After every few cuts, attempt was made to identify the ureteric orifice to avoid any injury of it. Once the initial part of the median lobe, which was extending way into the bladder, was resected and both the ureteric orifices were identified, the median lobe was resected up to the vero. A good gutter was formed all around, and with that our irrigation also become normal. The cautery was set at 120 for cutting and 80 for coagulation. Very low lab cautery was used. A 26 French resectoscope, continuous one was used. Once the median lobe was tackled, a groove was formed at around 2 o'clock position on the lateral left lobe so that the entire lobe falls medially, and the lobe was resected. Up to the capsule. Any bleeder which were hindering the resection were tackled, otherwise vessels were not coagulated at this point of time. Careful resection was done towards the apex, taking small multiple chips towards the apex. Once that is done, the roof was tackled and careful resection of the tissue towards the roof was done, as most of the time the roof is usually thin walled and we should not cut beyond the sphincter. Once some capsular fibers are seen, we should limit our resection towards that so that we don't open sinuses. The apical tissues are usually resected in small bit by bit manner to avoid any sphincteric injury. Even towards the roof, small bits are taken towards the sphincteric side. I do not prefer inserting a finger into the rectum to do the apical resection. Most of the time I empty the bladder and bring the scope little beyond the vero and reinsert it. Most of the time we can see the apical tissue very well and we can resect at that point of time. This is the resection of the roof which is done towards the sphincteric end of the prostate. Any bleeders which are occluding the regions should be resected there. Once that is done, gutter is made on the opposite lobes. The advantage of making a gutter at 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock position is entire prostate falls onto the floor, and the major vessel which supplies the prostate usually comes at 5, 7 and 11 and 1 o'clock position. So most of the time the major vessels can be taken and the prostate become avascular, and resecting on the floor is much easier as compared to resecting on the roof. So we can see the entire prostate, once we have made a group, have come onto the floor of the prostate, and then we can resect very easily there, and it is quite avascular. Resection is done with the help of glycine as the irrigant solution and using monopolar cautery. If you have too many chips there in the bladder, sometimes they can keep coming onto the prostatic fossa, and we can empty the bladder, give a bladder wash and remove all those chips. It's very easy to lose orientation, especially in large gland, so better to resect in stepwise manner rather than doing haphazardly. Any large bleeder should be tackled at that point of time, and resection near the apex should be done very carefully, because it's easier to treat an obstructive patient than a patient who is incontinent.